Hi, I'm Alison from Alison's Astrology, and I'm here to talk to you today about the week that begins. When does the week begin? 17th, Sunday the 17th. And we're just actually out of Friday's full moon in Taurus, which was together with Uranus, and that might have shaken us all up a bit, or at least given us some new perspectives on things. And the same day on Friday, of course, Saturn turned direct, which was in Pisces is about crystallizing what we imagine and kind of making real something that we're envisaging, our dreams even possibly. And it also just kind of says to us when Saturn turns direct, okay, well, I better just get on with it because there aren't really any other options, Saturn being about duty. So this week we have another momentous week of astrology with a shift of Pluto moving definitively into Aquarius. So this has been a big thing because Pluto's been kind of flipping in and out of Aquarius for, well, the last sort of year and a half since March 2023, in fact. And the thing with planetary transits is when they go backwards and forwards, they're kind of showing you something, getting you ready for something. So the first pass can be like the first part of a story, if you like. So these are the themes that are coming into our lives. And then when it retrogrades back, there's another chapter in that story in the same way. And sometimes a retrograde is not a great chapter, there can be setbacks and things like that where you have to struggle and kind of fight for what you want. And then finally, when that planet moves across again, does the forward transit, then that story becomes crystallized, it becomes real, it becomes something that is actual in our lives. And that's what's been happening with Pluto, actually. It's been backwards and forwards, and now it's moving definitively into Aquarius. And it does that on Tuesday, Tuesday the 19th at about 8:30 in the evening in the UK. And now it's going to stay there for the next 20 years. And that's basically the end of Pluto in Capricorn in our lifetimes, because, this planet takes 248 years to move around the sun. It's got a really long orbit and it grinds backwards and forwards over degrees, kind of just changing things in the zeitgeist. So this is a big deal. And Pluto in Aquarius is about ideological and personal freedom. It represents the power of concentrated thought. I mean, Aquarius is also about the collective, about people, and people have sort of said it's about the power of the people in terms of, revolution and that kind of thing, which is possible, we'll see, but there are different kinds of revolutions, it might not be a get out on the streets and shout, it might be an ideological revolution. It's a detached, impersonal, forward-looking sign. It's humane and faithful by nature, but it's motivated by ideas and ideals. It's interested in humanity as a whole. It's not interested in people as individuals. It's about truth, really. It wants objective truths, Aquarius. And it's not a cuddly sign, it's neither emotional nor compassionate. It's friendly, but not emotional or compassionate. So it's going to be an interesting shift, actually. We've moved from one Saturn-ruled sign to another, in fact. But of course, Uranus also co-rules Aquarius. So it's going to be a different story, essentially. And let's see where that takes us. There's going to be less about building things in concrete ways on the ground and more about technology, looking to the future and how that affects our lives. Well, we'll see. And it's not really cuddly. Astrologer Kim Farley talked about the slow road to sudden change with Uranus. And I think perhaps Pluto in Aquarius is going to show us that. It's the power of transformation and power. And it suggests profound changes to our ideals and the way we think about things and the way we think and operate as a human group, as it were. But also on a personal level, this is important too. When these big planets shift into signs, they affect all the planets that we have in those signs, giving them a boost or a focus or just a nudge, giving them a new energy. So if you have planets in Aquarius, you can expect, you know, to be changed by this shift, even if it's a gradual thing, to be to be energized, perhaps a new energy coming in. And even if you don't have planets in Aquarius, whatever area of your chart Aquarius is in, that's going to be changed. So for instance, if it rules the 6th house Aquarius, if you have that on the cusp, then you can look at you know, your daily life and your work area being changed. So this is interesting, and you know, it's something we should pay attention to on Tuesday to see what's happening, what the themes are that are really coming into our lives, and what that energy represents for us. So for instance, to give you an example, Elon Musk has Mars in the North Node in Aquarius in the 8th house. So Mars rules his 10th house of career and public image, and also his midheaven. So this is suggesting for him a profound transformation of his public image and potentially his career, which is already happening now that he's been he's in the government, in fact, or he's been appointed by Trump. So this is Pluto changing his image and giving him considerably more power, because Pluto can give and take power. It's about struggles for power and what's empowered in life. Mars in the 8th in Aquarius is a futuristic placement. It's about the drive to transform shared values and ideals and technologies at a very profound level. And the 8th is also about shared money and resources, and there's no doubt that Musk taps into all of that. But the Pluto shift is ongoing, and it's important to remember that this is just the beginning. And although we might seem powerless, Aquarius, more than any other sign, is about the collective. And always with astrology, you have the oppositions. So Aquarius is opposite Leo, of course. And with Leo is about our self-expression, about what we bring to a party, to a group, to a dream, to an ideal. So here the question is about what we as individuals bring to the wider group, the wider Aquarian collective. So interesting times ahead. The second important transit this week, that happens on Thursday the 21st around 8 p.m. UK time, when the sun moves into Sagittarius. Now, this is maybe less momentous because it happens every year, of course, but it doesn't mean it's not important. The sun represents our life energy, excuse me. And of course, every year the planets are in different places and the sky is telling us a different story. So that shift of the sun into a new sign is bringing us a different chapter. Sagittarius is always about freedom and vision. It's not the most sensitive of signs, but it's confident, friendly, loves adventure. It can also be unreliable, inconsistent, and a bit reckless. But it's philosophical, you know, and it's about the big picture. It's fiery and optimistic, and goodness, we all need some of that at the moment. It's ruled by Jupiter, Zeus, you know, a planet that wants to grow and expand and break out from confines and, you know, find a meaning in the world. This year, Jupiter is retrograde in Gemini, so it's still more philosophical than usual. But still, Sagittarius is always going to be about the journey and the search for meaning. So that's what we're looking at here. And of course, it coincides with the pre-Christmas party season, which is perhaps no coincidence. Yeah. So this year, the first thing that the sun does as it moves into Sag is it makes a positive connection to that Pluto that's just moved into Aquarius. So this is a powerful vibe of energy for positive, meaningful change on Thursday and Friday. And it could really be an opportunity to harness something that would take us forward into the winter months and just keep us feeling hopeful and buoyant, because there's a lot of retrogrades this winter. So there's a lot of turning back, a lot of thinking, a lot of researching, perhaps a lot of reconsidering. And it's going to sort of start with Mercury retrograde on the 25th. So these two things coming together, the sun and Pluto, like this, I do feel that this could be this could just be something positive that we take forward with us over the next couple of months. So that's pretty much it for this week. two big important shifts. Notice how they impact you. Notice how you feel, because these are going to be the themes that are moving forward, especially with that Pluto moving into Aquarius. That's going to take us forward for the next 20 years. Next week, join me to look more closely at that Mercury retrograde. I'm looking forward to it too. Okay. And I'll see you next week.